Hello and welcome to Reliquary Duels pre-game deck tech, the show where we talk about the decks we will be playing on stream. Today, we will be covering my commander deck built around Solkanar the Swamp King. Now this absolute beast of a commander is 2 blue, black, red for a 5/5 legend with Swamp Walk, and whenever a black spell is successfully cast, gain 1 life. Whew, talk about power. Now, Solkanar isn't just the Swamp King. He also is the Face King. My man sees someone on his swamp and he goes to town. Absolutely essential for this deck. And this deck is based on one concept: home. Everybody needs a home. For example, when some rapscallions walk on your land, what would a reasonable person do to retaliate, huh? Kindly tell them to walk away? No. Smash their face! Category 1. Yarr Harr? You may be thinking, why add any more cards other than Solkanar? You have the right idea, my friend, but I ask you this first. Who is known to be good at stealing things? Pirates, of course! That's why I added a bunch of garbage pirates to the deck just to throw off the other players. They'll look at my board and think, oh, just another pirate deck. Nothing to worry about. And smack! Solkanar teaches many lessons. To kick things off, Forerunner of the Coalition and Dire Fleet Neckbreaker both are pirates who help other pirates. Pirates helping pirates. Next up is Glinthorn Buccaneer and Dire Fleet Poisoner. Glinthorn Buccaneer is one of the better pirates in my deck because he helps me filter my hand while dealing damage. And Dire Fleet Poisoner is meant to be just a flash blocker, something to keep the pesky dinosaurs away. And now for some cards I treasure. Dire Fleet Hoarder, Sailor of Means, and Prosperous Pirates. Now, pirates have something in common that helps tie this deck together. Treasure. The plan is to play pirates as chump blockers and leave treasure for future synergies. To help out with these pirates, I put in Deadeye Plunderers and Pitiless Plunderers, which both have recurable means of making treasure. And to finish off this pirate theme, Pirate's Prize and Pirate's Pillage are cheap sorceries that can get me card advantage while upping my treasure count. What might I use to take advantage of these artifacts? Category 2. Payoffs. With all these pirates distracting our opponents, I can use the treasures to activate my combos. For example, Reckless Fireweaver and Underhanded Designs. These cards can make treasures a win con very easily, while being cheap enough to not worry about them being removed. Another strong player in my deck is Mayhem Devil, which lets me turn all of my treasures into a fireball at will. It also wrecks sacrifice decks because it triggers on opponents' sacrifices as well. And now for the real payoffs. Let's talk about Marionette Master. This card has won me many games on the spot. For instance, if I have 5 treasures, I play Marionette Master and give her 3 +1/+1 counters. And then I can sack all of my treasures to just burst somebody for 20 damage. Insane. And to help sweep the game from under my opponent's feet, I have Revel in Riches and Thopter Spy Network. These enchantments can get me value throughout the game and pretty much win me the game if my opponents don't act quickly. Category 3. Artifacts. To ensure my artifact synergies stay intact, I'm running lots of value-packed artifacts. Case in point, Solemn Simulacrum, Rasperous Dragon, and Gleaming Barrier. These creatures provide lots of value, either by entering the battlefield or by leaving it. Mimic Vat, Chromatic Star, and Demon's Horn. These artifacts are cheap to play, but with incremental value that will make it tough for my opponents to keep up. Like Demon's Horn, it's just Solkanar, but cheaper. Amazing. And after that, I have Bantu's Monument, Nyx's Lotus, and Coveted Jewel. These monumental cards, yes, pun intended, provide me with mana advantage, which can sway games. They also give me extra value either through card advantage or by just draining life. But nobody else plays swamps. Solkanar can get a little lonely with no one to demolish. And that's why I have Whisper Silk Cloak in the deck. Not just for the evasion, but also to give him that sweet, sweet shroud. And for the late game, I have Planar Bridge, Caged Sun, and Vanquisher's Banner. They're all late game artifacts in this deck with insane value. From searching up my deck for a Nicol Bolas to pumping all my creatures. Lots of value to be had there. Category 4. Mana Rocks. Sometimes, mana bases can be a little tricky. The solution? Find every single mana rock and jam it into one deck. Of course, I'm running Rakdos Signet, Izzet Signet, and Dimir Signet. I mean, when you are playing an artifact deck, you have to bring in the signets. I mean, come on. Unfortunately, I did not get my hands on an Arcane Signet. I know. This is tragic. So, I have Leaden Mirror instead. It's not one of the best mana rocks since it can be killed, but the advantage is that when it is killed, the person who killed it looks like a jerk, and most likely will be picked off because of it, while all I lost was just a creature. And of course, I'm running the auto-include 1 mana artifact. That's right, you guessed it, Wayfarer's Bauble. Oh, right, yeah, I almost forgot about this one. Soul Ring, nobody plays with it. I was about to take it out, but I might as well run with it. Now, what am I ramping into, you may ask? Category 5, Planeswalkers. When looking through my collection to make this deck, I noticed a theme in my binder. There were a metric ton of Planeswalkers. So, I wanted to make good use of them. And because of his artifact synergies, I decided to put in all 3 Tezzerets into the deck. Tezzeret Master of Metal, Tezzeret the Schemer, Tezzeret Master of the Bridge. Very creative naming if you ask me. Tezzeret, and yes, I mean all of them, works especially well in my deck due to his built-in artifact synergies. For example, Tezzeret Master of the Bridge makes all of my creatures 1 cheaper for each artifact I control. Next up is Nicol Bolas the Deceiver and Nicol Bolas Dragon God. When reading the book for War of the Spark, I noticed hidden on page 165 at the bottom right corner of the page, there is a small image of Solkanar, thus proving that he was at the showdown during War of the Spark. I took this to mean that he was on Nicol Bolas' side, of course, so that's why they're in the deck. And to commence the endgame, I have Liliana Dreadhorde General and Ugin the Ineffable. Liliana Dreadhorde General is one of the better Lilianas for this deck because she can turn my useless pirates into actual cards by sacrificing them. And Ugin is definitely better than the 8 mana version for 2 reasons. 1, he reduces the cost of all of my artifacts by 2, and 2, he's like $40 cheaper. I mean, come on. Ever had that one guy at the table? And yeah, I mean the one guy who gets way too much value out of their graveyard. Why not just completely ruin their day? Well, that's why I have Ashiok Dreamrender in the deck. And also, she makes sure nobody gets to play the game because no one can search their deck. Fun for the whole family. And the last Planeswalker, Duretti, Scrap Savant. He's a key part of my deck because it comes down early and can get late game artifacts like Caged Sun into play by only sacrificing 1 treasure. And he's a Goblin Planeswalker. Side note, how does one get the title Scrap Savant? Like, I want to be a Scrap Savant. Category 6, Removal. When it comes to removal, This deck is not limited by any means, but when picking removal cards, I tried to make sure there was some other value other than just, well, removal. To illustrate, I have Contract Killing, Depths of Desire, and Unlicensed Disintegration in the deck. These are solid removal spells with other value attached. Why not? For some flexibility, Solemngar's Command and Battle at the Bridge are also in the deck. These cards can be played to do all sorts of things. Kill small creatures? Yes. Kill large creatures? Of course. And for my one board wipe in the deck, I am running Nightmare Unmaking. This board wipe I find goes undervalued, but really I can kill off the bigger threats while leaving my smaller pieces for my combos. And my last piece of quote-unquote removal is Tisabo Tavok. When there are criminals about, you need the right man for the job. And that's why Tisabo Tavok comes in handy on my deck. Just look at that art. Yeah, on second thought, let's ignore whatever the heck that is. Oh! Category 7. The other cards. Just some other cool cards I thought would be neat, and they're also on flavor. These cards don't really fit a specific theme other than just making the deck original. Like Gonti, Lord of Luxury, King Makar the Gold Cursed, and Kirk, Son of Yawgmoth. These fine gentlemen may not seem the best, but they have interesting abilities that you don't see every day. And to help combo off with my pirates, Thassa Deep Dwelling is here. As shown before, I have a few enter the battlefield effects that work well with Flicker, so that's why Thassa's in the deck. For example, Gonti, Lord of Luxury. Why not just have their entire deck? And for my tutor, I have Diabolic Tutor. It's just a simple tutor. It ain't much, but it's honest work. For my spells, I have Expropriate, Dark Ritual, and Brass's Bounty. These spells all share one theme: game winning. They have a tendency to just win the game when cast, either to let my bigger boys play, or through 50 million treasures. And lastly, here's Elemental Augury, and I don't know how to pronounce that. Here goes nothing. Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah, I put him in the deck because he fit the theme of 5-mana legends from Legends. Also, Elemental Augury is here to up my devotion count. Category 8. Lands! One key aspect of winning any game is having untapped lands. That's why I added cards like Dwarven Hold, Sand Silos, and Bottomless Vault. They come in tapped, and if you want to use its mana, you have to wait another turn, and it does not keep its mana. Yeah, I only picked the strongest mana bases for my decks. And now, for one of the, if not the best, cards in my deck, Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. This card is the best card in my deck, next to Solkanar, of course, because it makes every land a swamp. You know who does not like people walking on his swamps? Boom! It's Solkanar! Yeah, a land that gives my commander unblockable 24/7 and helps fix my mana is really solid. And for my real fixing, I have Fabled Passage, Terramorphic Expanse, Evolving Wilds, Bloodstained Mire, Command Tower, Opal Palace, Crumbling Necropolis, Vault of Whispers, Great Furnace, Seat of the Synod, Rakdos Guildgate, Temple of Deceit, Temple of Malice, Temple of Epiphany, Acome Refuge, Dismal Backwater, Bloodfell Caves, Exotic Orchard, Luxury Suite, Dragon Skull Summit, Foreboding Ruins, Shivan Reef, Blood Crypt, Ash Barrens, Myriad Landscape, and Rogue's Passage. And for basic lands, I am running 4 islands, 2 swamps, and a singular mountain. Conclusion. This deck may seem like a joke, and to be honest, I thought it was when making it, but after a few games of playing it, it has serious win cons, and when not dealt with quickly, can end games out of nowhere. I hope I don't go last, though. And that concludes this deck. I do hope you enjoyed it, and to see this deck in action, tune in to the Reliquary Duels 2 stream on May 30th, 2021 at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also tune in tomorrow to catch the next Reliquary Duels deck tech, or check out yesterday's video in the iCard above. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, as well as leaving a comment on what you would run in the deck, and make sure to smash that bell icon. And thank you for watching. Have a good night.